Edgar TV. Hey all, and welcome back to Edgar TV. In this episode, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the original 16 players that formed the PDC back in 1994 and see what they got up to and where they are now. But first, a quick, and I mean a very quick skim over of the facts. So in 1993, that was the last BDO World Championship, which was a unified, which had all the players in. John Lowe beating Alan Warren in the final. After this, all the world champions and top players at the time, other than Leighton Rees, who was the only world champion not to move over, moved over to form what is now the PDC, which was seen on Sky Sports in 1994. This wasn't exactly a clean split, and there's lots of stories that you can see. You'll see the Blood on the Carpet documentary that you can find on YouTube, plenty of those out there, and there's lots of details and documents both on pdc.tv, or if you just have a little Google around, there's loads of places that have covered this. I'm not looking at covering that today, it's already been done. We're looking at what happened to the 16 and where they are now. So the first place to look is who were the original 16, and here they are, the 16 players that changed darts forever. Our first stop is to the 1988 BDO World Champion Bob Anderson, who had a lengthy 14-year career with the PDC. Famously, his first notable point of the PDC was when he rode a horse to the stage for the World Championships, which we then later found out that Bob was actually scared of horses, which might be why it took till 1996 for his first sort of real success in the PDC to come around, when he came third place in the World Match Play at Blackpool. His best PDC days come much later though, between 2004 and 2006, where he twice made the World Championship in 04 and 05, losing the latter to Kevin Painter in the semi-finals, and he also made the World Grand Prix quarter-finals back in 2006. Bob's last PDC major was in 2008 when he lost to Jason Clark in the first round. But that wouldn't be the last time Bob was seen. He did appear again in 2008 for a couple of Pro Tour events, ended up losing his very last competitive game was a UK Open qualifier. But we saw him again later in 2008 when he joined the League of Legends, an event that took place over on Setanta Sport. And actually Bob not only topped the group you'll see here with 11 points, he went on to win the title, beating Keith Deller in the final. Although he hasn't thrown a competitive dart since 2008, you'll still find Bob Anderson 12 years later still throwing, mixing it with the big names of darts over on the exhibition circuit. Alongside that, Bob Anderson now offers various darts coaching sessions. In second, we take a look at Peter Everson, who it's fair to say his best years was 1996 and 1997. In 1996 he famously won the World Match Play title at Blackpool, becoming one of only 9 players to date to lift that title. He then managed to follow that up in 1997 with a third place in the World Championships. Last time we saw Peter though was in 2005 at the UK Open. That was the last TV major he played in, where he lost 4-0 in the opening game to Richie Burnett. And like Bob Anderson, and ironically stood next to him here in the photo, he played in the 2008 League of Legends on Setanta Sport, finishing 4th place here, racking up 9 points in total, which qualified him for the semi-finals, where ironically he lost 9-6 to Bob Anderson. Peter still felt the need years later to scratch that competitive itch, and appeared on the Unicorn Challenge Tour between the years of 2014 and 2018, where he was last seen at the end of 2018 and hasn't been seen in a competitive arena since. In third on our list is Rod Harrington, whose best results on the Yockey came in 1998 and 1999, when he famously won back-to-back the World Match Play title, and as we know, only 9 people have listed that title to date. Off the Yockey, Rod became a PDC director and was very influential in the development of the development tour. He was a very big advocate for the youth and getting the youth through the systems. Like Peter Everson, Rod was last seen in the 2005 UK Open, where he lost in his opening game to Bob Crawley. He did carry on playing until 2007, where he was last seen playing in a Players' Championship event over in Gibraltar. More recently, Rod was inducted into the PDC Hall of Fame in 2019. If you want to see what he's up to nowadays, you can see him every time on Sky Sports as a pundit, or you can catch him on a golf course here. He likes a round of golf these days. Or finally, he might be supporting his son Ryan, who also plays on the PDC. Mike Gregory, although part of the original 16, didn't play in the original World Championships. He played in the first Masters the PDC put on in 1993 and actually won that event, but went back to the BDO and played in the BDO World Championships in 1995, where he reached the quarter-finals. He would, however, dip his toe in the PDC in 1998 and 2001, playing in the Welsh Open and the Swiss Open respectively, but never fully committed to a switch. Mike's last competitive tournament came on the floor in 2005 when he played in the BDO Scottish Open, finishing in the last 16. Back in 2010 there was rumours he was going to come back to play in the Lakeside, the BDO World Championships, and for Series 2 of League of Legends, but neither of those happened, and nor did the League of Legends Series 2. Mike was last seen playing darts in the Somerset Super League. Richard Gardner had a short time in the PDC, spanning just to 1999, where his last TV appearance was there, where he lost in the World Championships to Rafa Benitez. Okay, maybe it weren't Rafa Benitez, it was Gary Mawson, but look, can you tell them apart? I doubt it. His best TV moments, however, must have come from Bullseye, a popular TV game show where he scored 305 points in the professional Bronze Bullseye Challenge, raising money for charity. He did dip back in 2005 and 2006 thanks to geography, played in events in Eastbourne but wasn't really successful. He's still involved in darts now though. He's part of the darts governing body for professionals as a player liaison. This is basically we need to answer to if we're all naughty boys. John Lowe was one of the most high-profile players of the 16 to switch. At the time, 3-time world champion and 2-time world masters champion. Was unable to put a PDC major under his belt though, but did get to 2 World Championship semi-finals in 95 and 96, 2 World Match Play semi-finals in 1995 and 2002, and also 1 World Grand Prix final in 2001. His career best in the UK Open actually came in his last one in 2005. What was in the water in 2005? But in 2005 he lost in the last 16 to Roland Shelton. Also in 2005 he released this book, his autobiography, which you'll see at the bottom here. Sid Waddell says it's a must read for darts fans. In 2008 he came to the League of Legends, which was the last time we saw him in a TV event. If this is the first time you've seen this League of Legends event and you feel like you might have missed out, you're in luck, because quite a lot of this is actually over on YouTube, so you can actually still catch a lot of the games now. Fast forward into the modern day, in 2019 John Lowe was awarded an MBE. He also is still sponsored by Unicorn and his products are doing fantastic, still very popular on the market there, very popular on the exhibition circuit as well, still mixing it with the top players, and from what I hear he can still throw a mean dart. The guy's still going. Jockey Wilson was one of the most popular players that came over to form the PDC, and also a very talented one, 2-time world champion himself, but didn't really have the longest career in the PDC. Only played in 2 PDC World Championships, those in 1994 and 1995, and was last seen appearing in the World Match Play, where he lost in the last 16 to Nigel Justice in 1995. Jockey sadly passed away on the 24th of March 2012. Eric Bristow was the big cheese back in the day. 5-time world champion, 5 times world masters champion, but didn't really win the title in the PDC. Came closest in 1997 when he had an absolute classic with Phil Taylor at the World Championships. And he's responsible for a lot of things. Some people say he's responsible for darts being where it is. He's definitely responsible for Phil Taylor being here, as it was Eric Bristow who sponsored and backed Phil Taylor and brought him to the dance. His last PDC major though was the 2000 PDC World Championships, where he lost to Steve Brown. And I don't mean JDC chairman Steve Brown, I mean America's Steve Brown. And you guess where he ended up next? In 2008 he went and played in the League of Legends. Didn't quite work out too well for Eric, only got 1 win, 2 points on the board, and that was against Bobby George. Eric did stay around the darts though, working as a pundit for Sky Sports up until 2016, and his glittering career also earned him an appearance on the I'm a Celebrity Get Me Out of Here show on ITV in 2012, where he finished 4th place. Unfortunately, Eric passed away in April 2018. Edgar TV. Stay tuned to Edgar TV, where I will be bringing you part 2, where we look at the other 8 players that made up the original PDC, what's happened to them and where they are now. The easiest way to follow this and look out for part 2 is hitting the subscribe button or following me over on @the Edgar 501 on Twitter.